Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine, and here are 10 tracks to celebrate the fact that Ian Gillan has reached the age of 80. So here are 10 tracks that I've picked to celebrate Ian Gillan reaching the young age of 80. When I did a video like this before, I picked 15 tracks and I ranked them from 15 down to 1. Here they're just 10 songs that I've been playing recently that I really enjoy. And it's a great example of Ian's voice. But they're just random, so it's however I pick them up. But there are 10 of them. If you want to add your own particular tracks that you would have picked that you've been playing recently, or a specific song from this list of 10 that you think is the absolute pinnacle of his vocalizing and his career, then let me know in the comments. So I've just picked out 10 songs, and they're from obviously some are albums, some are singles, some are compilation stuff. Anyway, so where shall I start? And I can't remember when I did one last year, it was 15 tracks, if all of these were in there. I'm sure a lot of them weren't. The first one is the B-side of Never Before from 1972. And for many people, the song that should have been on Machine Head. And in fact, on the Dweezil Zappo remix, it is on there. They managed to squeeze it on, which is When a Blind Man Cries. This is my original single from 1972, which I bought, I think it was, I can't remember, it was about Christmas of that year. I think I got it from W.H. Smith's on the Purple Records label. And because it was B-side that wasn't on an album, it had a kind of air of mystery about it, because in those days when singles didn't sell very well, when you got into a band later on, trying to find these things was really, really difficult. And When a Blind Man Cries, the only place I think you could find it was on a German compilation called Mark 1 and Mark 2 Deep Purple. It was on there. So the only other place you could get it was on the single. In fact, there was one other place you could get it, wasn't there? There was the Purple People compilation album, which was about 99p, which also had Smoke on the Water on it, and it was on there. And I think that might be also the place where I got it. I'm going to do a video on classic compilations of Purple People will feature. So that's the first track that I wanted to highlight as a really good one to put on your playlist for Ian Gillan. The next one, still in the kind of, I feel like a ballad, is Haunted from Bananas. Bananas is one of those albums that I think most Deep Purple fans really wish they'd bought it on vinyl when it came out, because you can't find it now. And in fact, trying to find Bananas on CD is hard enough. But Haunted was one of the first songs they debuted on stage, actually, from this album. I remember seeing them on the Bananas tour, I think just prior to that as well, and Haunted kind of popped up. It's a wonderful song and great Gillan vocal performance, and lovely stuff from Steve Morse as well. But I think it's a very underrated deep cut to feature Ian Gillan. What else have I got? I'm going to try and make sure I do this in order. Another one, which again probably doesn't appear on a lot of people's lists for top Gillan stuff, is One Eye on Morocco, a solo album he made a few years ago now, and it's the title song. There were lots of things on here that are really good, but I feel that it is the One Eye on Morocco is the track that I think sums it up. It's got that kind of Eastern feel, and I think it was a sign in a way of Ian Gillan feeling then, and he was when was this, in fact, because this all helps put things into context, doesn't it? It was 2009, so that's like 16 odd years ago, and people were saying then when they reviewed it in Kerrang, so it's a sign of Ian Gillan showing he's maturing, he's moving towards the twilight of his career, and he's picking songs that his voice really suits really well. Little did they know that here we are in 2025 and Deep Purple are probably going to release another album. But I really like One Eye Morocco. It's very different style of singing for Ian Gillan, but it's a wonderful album. Again, I didn't get it on vinyl because I think it came with a 7-inch single, because I think there was probably about 15 copies worldwide and they all went. Child in Time. I have to feature Child in Time. don't I? And which one am I going to go for? I'm being really up to date on this. I've been listening a lot to the Stephen Wilson remix of Man in Japan, and so the version of Child in Time I'm going to go with is the one from August the 16th, 1972. I think it's a great example of vocal aerobatics, theatrics, if you wish. You can hear every word he says on this thanks to Stephen Wilson's remix. And of course, those screams are just incredible. And I guess I can take a bit of license here and say extend it across the same CD and say the screams he does on Strange Kind of Woman in between that and Lazy. This is where he had that reputation of being this silver-throated singer. And I think it's just mind-blowing, the vocal performance. Obviously, the in-rock version is also absolutely incredible, but I'm going to go with the one from Man in Japan, Stephen Wilson remix, is the one I picked from that. Right, next I'm going to pick Sometimes I Feel Like Screaming. This is from Perpendicular, but the version I've decided to choose is actually from the Royal Albert Hall, the first one they did with Paul Mann doing the concerto for group and orchestra. I think this was 1999. Yep. I feel this one is an excellent way of listening to Sometimes I Feel Like Screaming, because you've got the female vocals, you've got the orchestra behind it. I just think it has a real joyous feel to it. It's a great song. It's a song from the Steve Morse period that I felt that the band should never have dropped from the set, ever. It's a song that Ian could sing really easily. It's a brilliant song. One of the, I think, as I said, the highlight of the Steve Morse period of Deep Purple. But this version from the Royal Albert Hall with the full orchestra is the one that I would choose. Next is an obvious one that I know for definite was on my list from last year, because I think it came in at number one, and I guess that it probably still is probably the definitive version of Ian Gillan singing, and it is Fighting Man, which originally was from the Japanese album, wasn't it? Colin Towns' composition. It's the track that created the Gillan Band. The version on here is from the Japanese version. They couldn't better it. But Ian Gillan's voice on that track, it's got screams on it as well, but it's hearing Ian Gillan going through the full range of what he can do. It's a beautiful song by Colin Towns, and it is absolutely essential listening for Ian Gillan. I'm staying with Gillan now for all but the last track in this top 10 for now. And the next one is from Glory Road, and it is On the Rocks. It's a classic track. It's one of the best songs in the Gillan canon by miles, and again, the way that Gillan's phrasing, his approach, the attitude in his voice, you believe it. It's an epic song. Again, it's Colin Towns has pulled this together. It's absolutely stunning. In fact, I've said before that anything to do with Gillan, I always look for the Gillan Towns writing partnership, and just knew that song will be superb. But On the Rocks, the way it starts, it's quite proggy. It's got everything in it, really fast-driven moments as well, and Bernard Tormé strangling his strat halfway through as well. On the Rocks from the album Gillan, 1980. A changing pace for the last but one, which is from the album Future Shock, and it is If I Sing Softly. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. If I Sing Softly. It's very different, and the next one I'm going to pick is also different. It's showing the softer side of Ian Gillan's voice. This was one at because side 2 of this album originally was the one that I didn't play as much. Apart from Bite the Bullet, again, Gillan Towns, which is a straight out of the Traps fast rock and roll song. But If I Sing Softly, it's very different. Got the flute in it from Colin Towns. But as the years have rolled by, I think it's another way. It's a bit like perhaps Our Lady or Placing Line from Who Do We Think We Are. It's got that kind of feel to me on how he sings. And a small edit there as I was about to move on to what I was about to say was the last one, but I'd actually missed one out. This is the trouble perhaps with saying 10 albums and not doing 10, counting from 10 to 1. The one I missed out is from Infinite by Deep Purple. This is the ginormous box that came when this came out in 2017. And the track from this is Birds of Prey, which is the last but one track, sitting behind Roadhouse Blues, which I still don't really understand why Deep Purple covered that. But Bird of Prey is an absolutely superb track, and I just love the way that Ian Gillan sings on this song. There's another one here, The Surprising, off this album, which is one of my favourites as well. And The Surprising and Birds of Prey was something they put in the live set at the time. But I think that Birds of Prey is probably my favourite track from this album, and I really do love the Steve Morse period anyway, and I think it's some great performances. But Infinite is an album that I've been revisiting lately, and as it's been a special week for Ian at the time we're doing this video, this is the album that I focused on, and that is the track I like. Anyway, back to where I was, what will be actually track number 10. And the last one is from Clear Air Turbulence, and I've gone with 5 Moons. Again, it flows so well from If I Sing Softly to You, because it's a ballad, it's very different, and Ian Gillan's voice is really forward in the mix. It's very soft vocal, and it shows a different side of his singing, and it's, the dictation is wonderful. You can hear every word he says. I love this album. And a lot of people kind of looked at it as being like jazz rock. What's Ian doing? But I think as the years have rolled by, Clear Air Turbulence has really risen to the top of for a lot of people as being like a really high watermark in Ian Gillan's career. So those are the 10 songs that I've picked to mark Ian reaching 80. What would you pick? What do you think of the songs that I have picked? Let me know in the comments. It'd be great to hear from you. And please subscribe, ring that little bell so you don't miss out on any future videos that I might do. And if you become a Patron YouTube member, you can get 15% off t-shirts and mugs, and also come along to our twice monthly meeting our own virtual pub called the Now Spinning Arms, and also get an invite to our WhatsApp groups and also our Facebook group. So remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please take care, and I'll talk to you all very, very soon.